Mic check, 1 2 1 2. What's up, man? It's your boy, Freshman Feek. We back again for another episode, Day and Night Podcast. I'm with my mans,
Cody Clayman.
And we hope y'all had a good week. I know I did, you know what I'm saying? A lot of packing in my garage, moving things around, you know what I'm saying? Getting things fresh. What about you, bro? How you been?
Man, just about to pass out in this 114-degree heat.
Bruh, my armpit's sweating right now. Excuse me, y'all, if y'all, see a little perspiration on my face, but LA is not playing. It's hot, like
I've
hot,
been getting bit all over the place, too. I don't know.
Bit? What you mean?
Just mosquitoes. I thought California was known for having no mosquitoes. Like, that's why we pay so much.
Interesting.
But I've just been being bit everywhere.
So you've noticed a difference this summer with mosquitoes?
Yes, big difference.
Okay, that's interesting.
All my legs are just bitten up.
Maybe
it's just my blood type. Like, it's just so addicting.
That's hilarious. No, I grew up I didn't grow up there, but every summer I used to go back to Zanzibar, island off the coast of East Africa. And, when you're on an island, that's mosquitoes galore. So I guess maybe I'm just used to the mosquitoes. I haven't been noticing it too much.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. What else to do, man? What's up with you?
Man, nothing. You know the same. People they be flaking, man. Like
people been flaking on you.
People be flaking. Like you make your plans. It's like set in stone. This is what I'm gonna do. This is the time frame.
Right.
Okay, cool. Whether it be hooping, hanging out with somebody, and you're like, okay, cool. I got my week planned.
Yeah.
We're good to go. And it's just last minute. Either no response, or I got busy, or my phone died, or just like some reasons that actually it wasn't the real reason. But
I'm not gonna lie to you.
You're one of those people.
I'm one of those people, man. I'll be making plans with folks, and sometimes, like, when I make the plans, I'm wholeheartedly trying to hang out. But when the day comes, it's just like, I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, to be honest, like, if I actually come hang out with you, I don't care if you're a dude, girl, whatever. Like, if I really follow through on my plans, that means I really fuck with you. Because I'm not, that's just how it goes.
So that's why you flaked on me so much. That now I know how you feel.
Now, those were legitimate reasons, of course. You know what I'm saying?
But you don't flake on me.
Yeah.
But obviously, hot topic. To start off with the hot topic, Chadwick Bozeman, passing away. Rest in peace.
God rest his soul.
What are your thoughts on that?
Man, that was tragic, and I don't know why it was so tragic. I mean, of course, it's always it always sucks when superhero or a famous figure passes away. But I think his news was so tragic because he didn't tell anybody he had cancer. He was diagnosed with colon cancer in 2016. It's 2020, meaning he filmed Black Panther with undergoing chemo. He filmed Jackie Robinson movie. He filmed, he played a couple legendary, figures in, American history as well as Black Panther. And to think that he was doing all that on set, 12-hour, 13-hour days while undergoing chemo and not telling anybody, that's epic, bro. That makes him even more legendary.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. And I think, it was more of like, how it was more of a cultural thing is kind of what made it so significant, such as, like Superman may be white or certain characters in movies may be white. So they, you can give me your perspective, but I think that that's why it was, for like, the black people it was like they had their, black person to look up to,
100%. And it's that's more relatable to like kids, you know what I mean? So when kids are growing up, identification and, to be able to identify with superheroes or just figures that you can look up to is very important. You know what I mean? Representation really matters in that sense to what you're pointing out. Like growing up, even when the Black Panther movie came out, like I saw Instagram videos of little kids, like their face light up when their teacher told them we're about to go, as a class, we're going to go see Black Panthers. Like the whole class was like excited and all that stuff. And like, to be honest, you don't have that with traditional movies in terms of kids from the inner city. Or just like African kids or black kids or even like Hispanic kids, they like the movies, but it's a different type of identification when you can identify to it. So it's very important to have, white superheroes for white culture and white children to look up to and in universal too. But it's also just as important to have, public figures and superheroes of color that children of color can look up to and aspire, which is why it was very important when Obama became president, you know? Yeah, he was the first black president, but now you can look at a 4-year-old or 5-year-old black kid and be like, yo, if you want to be president, look, there's a living example right there that you can.
Diversity.
Exactly.
Yeah, for 100%. Sure, definitely. And couldn't agree more, man.
What do you think Disney's going to do or Marvel's going to do with this character, though? They were going to start filming a week after he died. They had plans to film. So he was planning on filming still, and up until his, his deathbed, which is crazy.
And that just shows you that, like, when you like doing something or you enjoy it, you're going to continue to do it, whether you have cancer, whether you're on your deathbed. Like, if you like doing it, kind of like the announcer. He
from ESPN?
Yeah.
I remember his name. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But how he was doing all of his announcing, all of that while he had cancer.
Yeah, talk to the mic more.
And he didn't tell anybody.
Right.
About it. So it just shows you when you have a passion for something and you really enjoy it, you're going to do it at all means.
That's a fact. Wait, but didn't he? I think people knew he had cancer before he passed, though, right? Because remember he had
when it started getting really bad, yeah, and he was missing games,
right?
But he always tried to not miss any games.
Oh, you're talking about not the guy from ESPN. You're talking about the guy that used to be at the games.
Correct.
Oh, I know his name too. I'm just drawing a blank.
Yeah.
But him, I should know his name. He would wear the colorful ties.
Yes.
He was known for the colorful ties.
It's on the top of my tongue.
Yeah,
too, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, just shows you that when you do have that inspiration, that passion, that you're willing to do it at all costs.
The most heartbreaking thing about Chadwick passing as well, Chadwick Bozeman, rest in peace, was that when he did post a video, I think it was last year, he was really skinny. Like, he had lost a lot of weight. And, when people don't know, the internet's going to do what the internet does. The internet, people were making fun of him. Like, memes were going out about, people were, assuming he was doing drugs or whatever, just making fun of him, looking severely skinny. You know what I mean? And people didn't know he's battling cancer. You know what I mean? So now that he's passed and we look back on it from hindsight, you're like,
I feel bad.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure the people who were making that, all that content feel bad. But then again, it's the internet. They don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, they don't feel bad about anything.
They just keep pushing and find the next thing to make fun of. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And that's crazy. And you heard about how Dr. J's wife, Nicole, was saying that he was very violent during their marriage and that he should give her $2 million a month. $2 million a month.
That I heard. I didn't hear about him being violent part. Excuse me. But I'm remembering the movie NWA, and it's just a movie, but they kind of portrayed him as having a little bit of a temper, temper issue when he would blow up. But then again, with those domestic violence things, you got to take it seriously. I kind of feel like, yes, take it seriously 100%, but women, I feel like, should always report it. Even right when it happens. I don't care if that's your husband, I don't care if that's your boyfriend or whatever, your brother.
That's what you're saying, but in the moment, it's you're scared of what's going to happen. What are they going to come back after you? Or you're scared, she's living comfortably in a good lifestyle, driving around luxury cars.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, that she's trying to weigh out the goods and the bads, more or less.
That's fair. But I just feel like when you don't at least tell family and friends that it's happening at the moment, it makes your and it shouldn't. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is the reality. It makes people later on, while you're going through the divorce, now you want to mention it. It makes people think at it skeptically. You know what I mean? Now you're bringing it up just because you're going through divorce battles, legal battles, and now you just want to whip out the he was abusive to me card.
Me too type of thing.
You know what I mean? So it's harder for people in general as a society to kind of get on your side when the news of it is just coming out as you're going through these legal battles, money battles. $2 million a month is at stake. That's a lot
of money.
You know what I mean? So when $2 million a month is at stake,
I'd take the $2 million just in general, but monthly.
Monthly. I mean,
crazy.
But to be honest, I don't necessarily doubt that she deserves it. You know what I mean? Because maybe he's making in that money technically, with his stuff, but a wife in general, again, I don't know their specific relationships, but a wife, if you have a solid home and the man is going out there making money, but the wife is at home taking care of your kids, keeping down your household, you know what I mean? Taking care of the other affairs, the home affairs that he doesn't have to think about, that brings immense value to a man's peace of mind. You know what I mean? His stability and his ability to be able to go back out there in the workforce.
Ability to focus, not have to go home and do everything.
100%.
You know, so
100%.
it is kind of about, although she may not be grinding at work, working super hard, she's at home doing the other stuff.
And that's a full-time job.
You know, and that's a full-time job
that's
too.
A fact. That's
and
a fact.
She's probably basing that $2 million off of his lifestyle and how much he generates income-wise.
Yeah.
You know,
but bro, if she's asking for $2 million a month,
he's
how much is he making a month?
He's got to be a billionaire.
Oh no, he is. But billionaire, I'm sure they factor in your annual income as well. Like, but majority of that is assets, right? What you own, all your houses, your estates. You know, maybe your house is worth $400,000, but you're not getting money from your house, right? Unless you're renting it out as rental income. But yeah, so like maybe $600,000 of his money is just assets alone. But like, how much is he making revenue wise? A monthly racking in to give somebody else $2 million.
That's a lot.
You know what I mean?
And
it must be like $10 million, and his expenses his expenses.
Yeah.
So yeah, expand on that.
I mean, the thing is all based on the income. I mean, I'm thinking if he's a billionaire, he probably makes about 15, 20 million. You think maybe? Nah, Mayweather brings in about $1 million a month with him not doing anything. But when he does a fight, he makes 200 million. Yeah. So that kind of spread out.
Of course.
A couple million.
Of course.
I think $2 million is a little excessive.
I'm thinking he probably makes. But then again, this is just what she's asking for. So this is not what's set in stone.
Not what she's asking.
So the judge is going to look at all the, you know what I mean? The judge looks at all the financial documents, sees how much he's coming in, what her expenses are. So I'm sure she has great lawyers as well. So the lawyers are probably telling her, start at a ridiculously high price, because guess what? Whatever you get is going to be lower than that. But if you start low, guess what? You're not going to get awarded anything higher than that. You know what I mean? So it's just like the negotiation thing. So she's probably comfortable with setting at around like $800,000 a month, $900,000 a month. But a good lawyer would be, negligent if they didn't tell you to start with that ridiculously high amount. Oh, like Future. Speaking of that, Future,
his 8 baby mamas?
His 8th baby mama. 8 baby mamas, 8 studio albums.
That's
you know what
crazy.
I mean? Maybe we should thank the baby mamas for inspiring his fire music.
Yeah. Have another baby mama. So there's another album.
We need to have a Future baby mama holiday.
Yeah, we do.
Come on, baby. But no, I bring him up because she was asking for $53,000 a month for child support. He countered with $1,000, right?
That's a big difference.
So that's where it weighed out. The judge settled on $3,200.
What? That's crazy.
So that's a big dub for Future. You know what I mean?
That's a big difference.
Yeah. So it goes to show it's just about $53,000 though. I mean that amount doesn't sound a lot right now because we started with.
But when you have
$2 million a month, that's a good point.
That adds up. But he makes pretty decent money.
And I don't think Sierra's putting him on child support unless because she's with Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And she has her own money.
And she gets money.
She gets her own money
regardless.
Right. But the other 7,
it's more the girls that he met at the club.
Yeah,
and,
Big Sean said that on his album too. He said, "I'm not gonna have 10 baby mamas because that's more of a job than a family." You know what I mean? Like when you have that many kids, that's just expenses. You know what I mean? Because you can't really spend time with all your kids like that. If you got 8 of them and you're always on the road,
you're gonna have to satisfy 8 ladies, and as well as maintain a relationship with your sons. And I mean, unless you don't have to even work at all. But even if you didn't work, that's a full-time job.
100%.
But he's just more of the I don't care type of.
He's the I don't care type. Yeah, some people. That's true. Some people will, equivalate. I'll kill that word. Some people will compare or make it seem like if you have the money to financially support a kid, that substitutes for spending time and quality time with the kid, which is not true. Of course you need money to raise a family, but quality time is way more valuable, I think, personally, to spend with your kids, especially at the younger ages.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
100%,
sure.
Man. That was great. That was a great topic, man. What else we got?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the big thing, coronavirus, maybe it's just
the Rona.
Yeah. Obviously, Trump, the election, all this stuff coming up, he wants the vaccine approved and distributed before the election.
Bugging.
Obviously, because he wants his election votes and he wants all that, for him to win the election.
Political gain.
Right
up the alley.
Exactly, with the whole, voting and things of that sort. So what are your thoughts on the vaccine? Like, would you take it? I know statistically speaking, like a majority of people, according to to the news stations and things of that sort, like a majority of the people would wait in order to take the vaccine, and they wouldn't take it right away, as well as a lot of the people would take it, but there would be repercussions. There's so many, because it was so rushed, it came out so quickly.
100%.
That it's like, what should we do? Like, what do you think the most effective way? There's a couple rumors I heard that maybe you'll have to put it on your driver's license to get into a bar, or you have to show ID that you took the vaccine, or how do you think taking the vaccine is going to be effective?
Well, let's start at
because they can't just open up all the bars and clubs and be like, okay, yeah, everything's good, and then the coronavirus are going to spike. Oh, but the vaccine is out there. Like, there has to be some way to.
So let's start at the first thing. With him wanting to expedite the distribution of the vaccines by November 1st, and the election I think is November 2nd or November 3rd, whichever day of those days is a Tuesday. I don't see that happening, only because unless he just mafia powers through it, I don't see it happening, because at the end of the day, the leaders at the CDC, at the FDA, and the government institutions that approve these decisions, at the end of the day, I mean, he's the executive, but the people who are in charge of when the vaccine gets released, the CDC, those people are independent people. Let me just move around for the light real quick. Right. So those people are independent people. They can't, their jobs are at stake too. So are they willing to risk releasing the vaccine this early without sufficient trials? And then, 2 months from now, people are going 3 ears at the side of their face and stuff like that. All these
bleeding from their eyes, losing their hair.
Unbelievable. We have a zombie apocalypse because of this vaccine.
Literally.
You know what I mean? You really
would you take it? Would it be worth the risk rather than the reward, as seeing everybody recovering from corona? Oh, I got corona, I recovered. Yeah, it was intense.
Right.
Now, would you rather take a vaccine to where you may bleed from your eyeballs and lose your hair, and your teeth might start falling out?
And what was that statistic? Did it say 43% of people wouldn't take it immediately when it came out?
Correct, yeah.
I'm one of those 43%.
Yeah, and I think me too, because you don't know how it's going to react with with maybe what you have going on, with your medical history, things of that sort.
And I feel like I'm kind of healthy. I might be better off just getting the coronavirus. Look at all these NBA players that got it.
Oh, if you did get it, just maybe we'll take a little bit of a break.
Oh yeah, of course. I'll follow the procedures. But I'm saying I would not take the vaccine, but I would just live my life again. Continue to
just have your vitamin C,
wear your mask, social distance, and if I do get it, just quarantine and recover. Drink a lot of water, whatever they give you, to recover from it. But look at all these athletes that got it. None of them have been hospitalized, to my knowledge. Maybe even the first player, Rudy Gobert, got it. Donovan Mitchell had no symptoms. All the NBA players before the bubble, when they got it, they just self-quarantined.
It's the people with the underlying health conditions that should take the vaccine.
And did you see the report?
So if you're way overweight, or you have a breathing, or just you have a condition, I think that those people should 100% take the vaccine so that they feel more comfortable.
100%. But did you see the report where it said the CDC released it? No media coverage on this, bro. No media coverage. It wasn't on CNN, no nothing. Of all the people in America that died from coronavirus, only 6% of them really died from coronavirus. Only 6%. The other 94% died they had coronavirus, but the main thing that caused them to die was leukemia, tuberculosis, or they were extreme high blood pressure, which I'm not saying the coronavirus didn't
added to it.
It made the high blood pressure go higher, or whatever the case is. But again, they had They had
the underlying health conditions. They had all of those things going on.
100%.
So, this is a really good point, is that the people with the underlying health conditions should take the vaccine. The people that are the most scared, that when I was grocery shopping, I saw a guy in a hazmat suit with the full, mask on.
Right.
Something like that. He should take the vaccine.
Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters should take the vaccine.
Ghostbusters got to take the vaccine.
Facts, 100%. 100%.
But I think a majority of the people aren't going to take it. I think a lot of the regulations will maybe stay, like the sanitation will maybe stay the same, but I think like bars and clubs, I think that people will they'll miss and they'll thrive for that feeling of going out, dancing, getting close interaction with people.
It's just social interaction.
Social interaction. Like
humans are social people.
That's the thing.
We're social people. We gotta meet new people. Our friends, gather with our friends. Whatever the case is, like human beings can't survive a long, extended period of time without social interaction. Which
and
is why
I realized that. I didn't think that it was a thing until I took my 3 months off from work.
Facts.
And I was like, damn, I want to go back to work because I miss my,
And I read something else. I didn't see statistics on it, but I read something else where it said the countries that didn't shut down, like I think Sweden or Switzerland, one of those countries didn't shut down at all. When the whole world shut down, they were one of the countries that didn't. Their cases went up a little bit, but they estimated them if they didn't shut down. They estimated us, if we didn't, 2 million people were going to die. They estimated Sweden, I think 80,000 people were going to die if they didn't. Well, we did, so we don't know what would have happened if we didn't.
But shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But they didn't, though. And their estimates were 80,000 people were going to die. Only like 4,000, 5,000 people died. They didn't shut down at all. The whole time they stayed everything open, and I don't even know if they wore masks or anything, but the numbers didn't rise to the occasion. But the reason I bring that up is that the statistic, I don't even know how you measure mental health, but they said their mental health is like way better than ours is right now as a country. I don't know how you measure that.
Well, they have like perfect skin. They have perfect
Sweden.
Man, I went over there. It's like they're super nice. They're friendly.
Yeah, I've been there once.
And like literally blonde hair, perfect skin, blue eyes. That's the criteria out there.
And maybe because, European countries in general, they're not as overweight as Americans. Like, that's the number one thing.
And that's a good point.
That's the number one reason, the number one underlying condition that leads to death with coronavirus is overweightness, obesity, I should say.
Overweightness?
Overweightness.
All
right, hey, that's how I go. But before we move on to the next topic, one other thing I wanted to mention that you asked was what's a reasonable way for us to move forward, like going to bars and stuff like that. With the vaccine, I have another solution. I was helping my uncle with a valet job a couple weeks ago. It was at an event. I can't say what the event was. And before the people were able to go into the event, the host of the gathering of the event hired nurses. So wherever the same place we were stationed at for the valet, they hired nurses, 2 people that came, and they were doing the coronavirus, a blood test. They prick you, take your blood test. Takes 5 minutes to get the result. They had to wait on the side until they got a text with the results. 5 minutes. And then it tells you if you're negative or positive. You're negative, go on in there. Why can't bars and clubs do that? The lines are already long as it is to get into the club. So while people are waiting to get in, spend a little money and get nurses or whatever, test administrators to just prick everybody in line, get a little sample of you, 5 minutes, and if you're positive, go home, bro. You can't get in. But if you're negative, come in.
Yeah. That's a valid point. I think a lot of people wouldn't want I don't want that, or
then you don't go to the club.
Yeah, true.
Then you don't go.
Like maybe some people, and then that would actually encourage people to go to the club, so they would be able to see if they had corona or not.
That's a good point.
Oh yeah, I want to go get tested. Yeah, let's go to the club.
Let's go to the club tonight. That's hilarious. Damn, I'll be having fucking tests every day. I'm joking. That's funny though. What else we got?
Do you think that the vaccine, let's say the vaccine comes out before the election, do you think that Trump's election polls will shoot through the roof and he'll end up winning the election because the vaccine came out before? Because he's basically saying, like, if the vaccine comes out, he's going to win the election.
That's what
so
he's trying to do.
So do you think that that's actually going to be an effective manner?
I don't know if it's enough to swing the election, but he's definitely going to get a boost from it, from like the independent people who don't, because there's a section of America who is voting for Trump no matter what happens. Mm-hmm. He could shoot somebody on camera right now. They're voting. They're riding with the guy. There's also an equal, maybe even larger segment of America that's going to vote for Biden. Don't matter what Biden does. Biden can slap an old lady right now. They're voting for Biden because they're never Trump. You know what I mean? They just hate Trump that much. So those people are set in stone, and they're voting for who they're going to vote for. Now it's the people in the middle that sway elections. The independents, the people that are like, I don't know. So if he does come out with a vaccine, some of those people are like, well, he is doing some good. Look, he got a vaccine ready. So then they might lean towards him again, but then he might say something stupid again. It will make them, I don't like what he said. So they're all fighting for the people in the middle. They already have their base. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. their base is not going anywhere. Like like those people that were driving down the street that we saw last week, waving the Trump signs.
Yeah, the hundreds of people.
It doesn't matter what he does. He can come out with a vaccine. They're voting for Trump.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? The people, the BLM protesters, either they're voting for Biden or they're not voting at all. But they're not voting for Trump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but that's another thing that Trump is counting on. People, even if they don't like him, they're counting on them.
What he does. They like what he.
No. Even if they don't like Trump, he's counting on them not voting for Biden, just staying at home altogether. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? So Biden
that's why he doesn't want the mail-in ballots, because the lazy people that don't want to go out and vote, like, oh, the candidates aren't really worth it, and I don't like both of them. So,
or people who are scared of the coronavirus, because people are legitimately still scared about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's people in hazmat suits.
So do you think that guy's going to stand in line, for Absolutely an hour if the lines are long just to vote? But if you mail him a ballot and he can mail it back, he's going to vote. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, do you think our votes are valid? Like, do you think we should vote? Because I mean, maybe you know more about it than me, but like, I know the popular vote is different than the electoral vote. And let's say what was the last people that
Hillary?
Were, Hillary,
no.
yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, Hillary. So Hillary won the popular vote, but Trump won the electoral vote, and he got elected as president. And same with Al Gore, he got
and George
elected.
Bush. Well, he won the popular vote.
So why would we even vote? Like, is it effective for us to vote at all? Because no matter who we vote for, it's going to come down to the Electoral College.
But that's why the Electoral College votes. Well, I mean, that's just the rules of the game. We can argue about should we have it. I think we should get rid of the Electoral College altogether and just do popular vote. But that's another topic. Now that that's the system that we're currently under, you can still vote and affect change within that Electoral College system. You just have to get the people in those swing states. The swing states that really decide the elections are like Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. So like California is going to go Democratic. Like it's going blue. So whoever's the Democratic, he's going to get all those electoral colleges, right? Because there's a lot more Democrats in California, New York. Texas is usually going to be Republican. You know what I mean? It's been changing a little bit now, but I think that's still going to go red, right? So there's these states that no matter how hard the other person campaigns, they're going to go the way they go.
Just like you said, like they have their base.
They have their bases, right? So now it's all about those states that every election they flip flop. So that's where all the president's candidates, they focus on those areas. Those are the electoral colleges that matter, right? So I think that's what they said. Hillary's biggest mistake last time was she didn't campaign in Michigan at all. She just thought she had it. And Michigan is another swing state. But Trump went there, campaigned hard in there, and he won Michigan by 10,000 votes, bro. A matter of, that sounds like a big number. That's minuscule. I think that's like 0.1 or 1% of all the voters is 10,000 votes. And he won by that much in Michigan. So he got all the electoral college votes from Michigan, which is how he won. That one, Pennsylvania and Ohio. He won those three states by a margin of like 50,000 votes altogether, which is why he won. So if people in those states, they 100% need to vote because their vote matters in those states. Me and you in California, whether we vote or not, I think it's still going blue regardless. You know what I mean? But that's on an individual level. So yeah, it's like yes and no. Like yes, the Electoral College doesn't get it right all the time. But now that you know that, you got to move accordingly and really go hard in those swing states where like you don't know which side is it going to go red or is it going to go blue. Those you got to fight for your candidate in that state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you made some pretty valid points. Mm-hmm. So I mean, are you going to vote?
Leaning towards it. Yeah. I'm leaning towards it. Yeah. I mean, I'm just not really that excited about Joe Biden, but like I just broke it down.
Exactly. I'm not too excited. It's like the only real exciting one that I was the Obama one.
That's true.
And I think everyone was excited about
it. Everyone. My man was Bernie this time though. Yeah. I was gonna go hard for Bernie. Like I liked Obama on a symbolic level. You know what I mean? I rock with Obama. Charismatic, charming, but
and it wasn't just his color. It was literally
his personality.
How he carried himself, the wording,
captivating,
great
speaker. You're right.
Oh, the speaking was incredible.
100%.
when he stood up, you felt like I want to be full force engaged in what he's saying.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And
so
that's
you're right.
what made him so good. And that's what made him not only have black people vote for him, but also have white people vote for him.
That's true. Because he wouldn't have got elected if a majority of white people didn't vote for him.
Yeah, I mean, he was a likable, but also very professional. I mean, he's still being a president, even when he's not president.
Yeah, that's true.
4 years later, he's still
giving speeches and
it's
like motivational. That's a fact.
And things of that sort. So he's still super involved, and just he's a good person in general. Like the family, you don't ever hear, Michelle and Obama the kids getting into arguments, talking about divorces, talking about strong family unit. And like they have the family roots, the family values. Like they're just good people. Like they literally stayed in Washington just so their kids can continue having their friends and going to school with that. Like that's
I think one of them's going to Harvard. I think she already went last year. It was her first year. So the kids are smart. The biggest scandal was like one of their daughters was like smoking weed as a senior, like, you know what I mean, like welcome to America, you know what I mean. But I mentioned that, but my man was Bernie. I was gonna rock for Bernie hard. Like his policies, I believe in his policies way more than I believe in Obama policies. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like now that I'm more politically aware and politically engaged, if Obama was running right now against Bernie, the platforms that they stand for, I'm rocking with Bernie. I want that Medicare for all. I want that, free college tuition day. These are things that Obama are against.
See, that's what he wants, but is he going to get it?
Well, I want
to build a wall around all of Mexico and have them pay for it. That didn't happen.
That didn't happen. But you're going to vote for somebody who's going to fight for those things.
Who's going to try it.
Yeah. So would I vote for somebody who doesn't want it at all? Or do I vote for somebody that's going to try to get it? He may pass it. He may fail. But I'm going to vote for the guy who's going to try for it. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's my guy for sure. But man, that's good.
That's a good point for sure. But, we got to bring up the Lakers, man.
Lakers.
We gotta talk about the Lakers, man. I feel like they always start off slow and like be like, oh yeah, we got this in the bag, we're good,
For those listening, right now we're recording. Game 1 just happened only, so we're gonna post this, a little bit while later. But Game 1 just happened. We lost of the semi Western Conference semifinals. Lakers, Houston Rockets. We started off really good, and then, we could not contain their guards.
No,
Harden
up too much. Harden was just hitting, and you can't leave him open. Like, they were leaving him open just like, oh, he's going to miss a shot, basically. Like, no, like, are you kidding me? Harden's one of the best in the game.
But their ball movement is impeccable. We can't guard the three-point line. They just have 3, maybe even 4 crisp passes, open jump shot. It's like...
Every one of them, like, I think when I was watching, like, 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. I mean, the Lakers couldn't come back because, like, they would hit a couple shots.
And we would fall into their type of game. We're trying to outshoot them. You can't outshoot the shooters. You can't outshoot the shooters.
It's like a Golden State. Golden State would be the only other team that would be able to outshoot them.
Exactly.
And they don't have KD or whoever anymore.
100%. So, yeah, watching that was tough. Game 2
they need to play their game.
And we have
the inside game.
They don't have a center on the other team. So we should be and I was telling my friends group chat, if PJ Tucker is not in foul trouble every single game, we're doing something wrong. He's trying to guard AD. Anthony Davis, you got to man up, son. You got to pound the paint. You know what I mean? None of this. Like, you gotta find
your turnaround jumper. I mean, his hands can go all the way. Like, his wingspan. His hand can go all the way up.
Facts, bro. Like, he needs to find his inner
body
Shaq.
Him down. Dude.
Yeah, he needs to find his inner Shaq and not his inner KD. Like,
exactly.
I mean, he's trying to play like Kevin Durant. You got to play like Shaq in these series.
Exactly. You got to realize your height versus him.
Yep.
And the
PJ Tucker's a tough motherfucker.
He is pretty tough.
It's hard to back him down. Like, his base is like.
Same with LeBron. Like, the Lakers have such a strong front force.
Yeah.
Take it to the rack. Don't play the shooting game with them.
And I don't want to
shoot every so often. Yeah. But every time you come down, don't shoot.
We really just gotta hope they have a bad shooting game, which how often they're gonna happen. Like last series, for Houston, it went 7 games because a couple of them games they just had bad shooting days. But that's because they were closing. The defense was closing out on their shooters really well.
forcing them to the basket where AD or LeBron will be, or McGee would be to block them.
Yeah, even McGee, man. We got to find some pick and roll plays with McGee. Like our centers, Dwight, y'all got to be effective in this round, bro.
They got to force them to drive.
Because if we're forced to bench y'all because y'all not playing well and we go small, it's a wrap series.
They have to. That's got to be the strategy. Is they have to force the Rockets to drive to the rack
100%
instead of forcing them to shoot and be like, oh, let me just get the rebound. Like, no, there's not going to be a rebound because they're going to make it.
Yeah, they might make it. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. But, still rocking with my Lakers.
Hey, Lakers that's a hard jersey. I'm not
Lakers
gonna lie.
in 5.
In 5? That's what you got the Lakers in 5?
We win these next 4 games in a row.
Yeah? Yeah, I mean, and also MVP-wise, who you got for MVP?
Bruh. I was going to say Giannis, bro, but the way he looking right now, give it to LeBron.
Yeah, absolutely,
give it to LeBron
100%.
James. We can talk about the Bucks right now.
The Bucks 3
going down 0-3. By the time you guys see this, they might be already out.
They're probably already going to be eliminated.
They might be eliminated.
They said you can't come back from a 3-1, but
that's happened a couple times.
No, it happened one time, which was from 3-1.
No, 3-1 happened.
I remember Golden State happened in the semis, but in the finals,
and then they lost 3-1, and then they lost. So they won 3-1, and then they lost 3-1. But last round just happened again.
Yeah,
Denver.
But in the finals.
Oh, in the finals. Yeah, but this round is not the finals either.
Yeah.
No, but 3-0 has never happened.
No one's come back.
No one's come back 3-0,
and that's a shocker. And I think in the last game it said something like the whole Bucks team scored less than what Jimmy Butler had scored in the fourth quarter.
He outscored
the whole team.
That's a fact, bro.
And that just shows you heart and hustle. Like there's no home court advantage, even
the bubble,
with them trying to have like the digital fans in the back, the backgrounds of their name and stuff like. That's not a true home court.
It's not
advantage,
a true home court because fans will make you feel it. Like
will make you feel like you're garbage. You're trash. You can't do anything.
Or even when you're playing in front of your home team. Like I remember playing games like when you're in your home gym, like you hit a couple shots. That energy, your crowd just picks you up, and you just be like, you be lit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You can't get that in the bubble. They try to have like cheers when the home team makes a bucket.
And I'm sure it helps. It helps a little bit,
And maybe, I don't know if it's because I'm watching on TV, but the cheers are so, like, late. Like, the bucket will go in, and then, like, 4 seconds later, they'll be like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not the same as
no, it's not the same as the interaction. And once again, going back to the interaction, the personal interaction.
That's a fact.
Being able to, give them a high five or, when they hit that buzzer beater, have the whole crowd go crazy.
Yeah.
There have been buzzer beaters, and like they didn't have the crowd going crazy.
That's true. That's true. Now you got to depend on your team. Now it's like
to depend on your team, hyping you up, getting you going, encouraging you, being that team leader, having you, just motivating you to, keep going.
100%.
Rather than have, the audience say like, you got this, and also when you're down, not having the audience walk out to try and motivate you, the game's over. Like, no, like we got this.
True.
So now it's more of like a pickup game.
Or I liken it to an AAU tournament. Remember playing in high school AAU tournaments in the summer, where like there's like 40 games going on inside the gym, but you got to jump from court to court. You got your game's at 11:50 at this court. Now we got.
I think that wouldn't make it the like you still have to make it semi-intense.
What do you mean?
Like semi, like it's a playoff game. More or less.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I feel like they're not struggling with the intensity-wise in the bubble games. The games are still intense. Like they're playing hard. That's what some people were worried about. Like the players are going to be lackadaisical. Nah, right when the bubble started, even before the playoffs, like the 8 games before the playoffs, they were playing hard. That wasn't the issue. It's just that home court advantage. The one team doesn't have that over the other now. You know what I mean? So all that hard work that the Bucks put in the whole year to get number 1 seed, it's just been neutralized now because every game is the same. There's no fan, you know what I mean? So that sucks, but that's just, in order to be a champion, you have to overcome adversity. And that in this year, 2020, that's just one of the adversity that the champion, whoever it is going to have to overcome, just like everybody else has.
And do you think this is going to be one of the greatest championships that has been won during this corona? Like, do you think this is the hardest championship to win?
I was thinking about that. I don't know. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. And
it's the best opportunity for an underdog.
And you know why? That's the reason. I'm seeing these guys who are rookies, second-year players, young guys, playing well, bro. And I was listening to another podcast. I forgot which one it was, but they made this argument. The younger players in the league, it usually takes them 3-4 years to get like comfortable in their own skin because they'll usually tense up, you know what I mean, with the fans booing and stuff like that or cheering and like they get nervous. But now it's like you said, it's pickup. Mm-hmm. So now it's just skills on skills. So now they feel comfortable. They've been playing basketball all their life at a high level. So it's not the skills that, you know, they know they can play against these guys. They're comfortable with that. But when you had the element of 20,000 fans in the arena, you know what I mean?
Game changer.
Now the rookies are a little shook, you know what I mean? So it takes them a couple years to really be comfortable. But this year they feel comfortable now in the bubble.
And they're able to show that off to their coaches, their players.
100%.
So that way when everything does go back to normal,
now they'll have more playing time.
Then they'll have more playing time, and also if
they
they're
gotta
not
keep
doing
it up, though.
exactly, if they're not doing so good, the coach is going to be like, "Hey man, you know, I saw you out in the bubble. I know you were killing. I know what you can do. Capable of. Just ignore the audience,
100%.
You know, or embrace the audience, you know, so they'll be able to narrow down on what their problem, what the issue is.
You hit it on the nose, bro. Good point.
When they're not performing,
100%.
You know? So like a true performer is going to perform in any atmosphere. Like LeBron, he's going to perform with fans, without fans,
on the moon and
Mars,
yeah.
Anything. That's a real performer,
right?
But when somebody doesn't perform, you're able to narrow down why isn't this person performing.
100%.
You know, so I think that's also going to be a plus.
A lot of people is nerves too. Yeah, you're right.
Nerves, like, you know, when it comes fourth quarter, there's just like CP3 said when
it comes time to crunch time, some people are made for it.
Some people are made for it, and some people are made for it.
Some people are not. Yeah,
and that's where you have to bite the bullet and be like, look, like the game is on the line. Like, I make this shot. We're winning. We miss it. We're going home.
That's why I put Jimmy Butler in that category.
That's what makes somebody the difference between a good and a great player.
Great player. That's true.
Having that intensity and that ability to.
And that dog in you.
And that dog, like, I'm going to make this. Like
Giannis doesn't have that yet.
I'm going to have 3 people on me. I'm still going to make this.
And Giannis is young, bro. Giannis is only 26. Like, he's young. He can still find. Is he 26 or 28? But no, 27, I think. But he's still young. He's like it's like a little bit before his prime. He has another year to get to his prime, and then he's gonna stay at his prime another 3-4 years, and then he's gonna be on the back end. So maybe these are the learning steps that he has to do, and maybe he just can't be. He's always gonna be the best player on his team, but maybe he needs another guy that's another like
him, and that's another
dog,
force.
Like better, like Chris Middleton is good. But he's not a guy you can just give the ball to. Like, even LeBron, right? LeBron is always...
AD, no matter how dominant he is, you always need that segment.
But when he won, though, LeBron was in Cleveland, was the best player, couldn't win, right? He went to Miami, was still the best player on the team, but whenever things got rough, he could give it to Dwayne Wade and trust him. Dwayne Wade's going to get you buckets in clutch time, right? Won 2 rings there. Went back to Cleveland, was still the best player on the team, but he needed Kyrie. Like, whenever he was gassed, throw the ball to Kyrie. You don't have to run a play for Kyrie. Mm-hmm. That wizard's about to get you some buckets.
I think he's got one of the best handles, honestly.
I think of all time. I think the best of all time. I never
seen somebody like his handles
on a string.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's out of a movie.
100%. Yeah. I'm excited for next year with him and KD.
Yeah, no, that's going to be pretty crazy. But honestly, the whole Achilles, man, that's going to be a big thing. Yeah. If Kobe couldn't come back as strong as he used to, and Kobe was already old,
though. Kobe, think about it. Kobe got hurt with his Achilles when Kobe was 34, 35. That's like...
But he's Kobe.
But not only that, 34, 35, and that was his 17th year in the season. He's already been playing 20. Kobe's an exception.
He's not a human being.
True, but I'm saying, but when you're like, he was able to extend his career so long because of that, the Mamba mentality, pushing through injuries.
Yeah, he's not a human being.
True, but at some point, like, those crazy players like that will extend it. Like, regular players will last 12 years and then their body starts breaking down. Mm-hmm. Kobe wasn't human, so he was able to push it to 17 years, right?
And eventually 20 years.
20 years, but look at him at the end of the year, like, you could tell, like, he's done. You know what I mean? He's done. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, eventually your body's going to catch up. With KD, he's still young, bro. He's only like 30 years old, 31 or something like that.
I mean, we'll see, but you also see D Rose. He came back from an Achilles. He's still, I mean, he's doing good, but he's not the same force where you just like, oh, he's MVP.
True, you know? But D Rose, his type of game was that explosiveness. Like, that was his bread and butter. So when you blow a knee on ACL,
No, his was Achilles.
No, it was knee.
He did his knee and his Achilles.
No. Look it up. No, he didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
I'll look like an idiot.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But no. But think about it. Yeah, KD is still 30. I would not have to look it up right now, but yeah, he's only 30 years old, bro. I think he's gonna come back, and his bread and butter, unlike D Rose
I guess
was
it's a
explosiveness.
different type of game.
His bread and butter is that jump shot, baby. So even if he has to stand in the corner and let him sink them threes, like I think he's still capable of doing that.
Yeah, I mean we'll see. Everybody, I guess, can recover different from an Achilles.
And the technology now, the doctors, the hospitals.
Yeah, I mean
it's only getting
the
better.
technology, but yeah, I mean the age. We'll see how he comes back.
But bro, they just hired Steve Nash.
Yeah, but Brooklyn. Steve Nash tried being on the Lakers coach and he didn't do so well.
No, he didn't.
Or was it?
No, this is his first coaching job. He just has no coaching
he was an
experience.
assistant.
He was a consultant for the Warriors, which is why he had a relationship with Kevin Durant already, because he was like they used to show video of them like in the practice gym. He'd be doing shooting drills with Kevin Durant.
Kind of like KD. He's also starting a new career. Being in Drake's music videos. Laugh now, cry later.
Laugh now, cry later. That's true, man. That's true. And he looked good. He was balling in that video.
He was balling up, Drake, dunking on him.
Yeah. So that's solid, man.
No, we hit some good topics. We'll see, what the next couple weeks lies ahead.
Facts. For
both the NBA world, for the politics, for Dr. Dre, for,
100%.
This heat wave and us passing out. So we'll see kind of, how things play out. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Give us your comments.
You already know.
Let us know your feedback. And we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week.
Love y'all, man. Day and Night Podcast. We out. Boom.